Hope you're having a great weekend. This is our week in review. It's a look back at some of the most compelling and interesting stories that we've been covering for you of the past week. Brand new episodes back again Monday. Press subscribe so you don't miss any of it.
This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast
With Tony Bruschi.
Psychotherapist and author Siobhan Scott joining us. We're going to be talking about James Craig, the dentist that's alleged to have poisoned his wife. And then while she was dying, flying his lover in from Texas. And just all around, a shitty human being. It's what we're talking about. Siobhan, this is an interesting case, one that really kind of makes your head spin because the behavior in which someone like this acts and how far they're able to get in life before, I guess, exhibiting this sort of behavior, although maybe it's been exhibited on a private level earlier, is kind of shocking. This is a guy, he obviously was able to get through dental school, have a successful dental practice for a period of time, has a wife, a whole bunch of kids, great house. On the outside, it looks lovely and wonderful. But on the inside, he was plotting how to kill his wife. What is going on here? What kind of personality are we dealing with where someone can be so good in these other areas, but over here, this seems to be the logical path?
Yeah, he's fascinating because I do think you have someone that has some innate intelligence, but his personality is getting in the way. He's impulsive with money, impulsive in his love life, his sex life. He's got that superficial charm, which takes him pretty far in a lot of ways, but this grandiosity and overconfidence is showing up, and that's why he's in the situation that he's in. So he's an interesting mix of personality traits too. Friendly and generous with his employees, and yet this incredibly sadistic and cruel behavior where he was trying to, and he did, create this slow, painful, torturous death for the mother of his 6 children, So, boy, that sounds psychopathic, doesn't it? The superficial charm, the ability to fool lots of people, and yet this other part of himself that he just really couldn't control. And that's what has got him.
And it seemed like so obvious. If you wanted to you'd look at it from an evil perspective, go, here's how you get away with this. Don't do these things. Like, don't be Googling poisons and how to kill your wife on any computer that you may be touching. He decided to use the work one because who's not going to look at the work one when his wife mysteriously dies? They'll only look at the ones from home. There were so many bizarre things. And let's fly the girlfriend in while your wife is in the hospital dying. And you still got little kids, too. So, there's just so many things that do not add up here to someone that seems to be making clear-headed choices, if you will.
Yeah, I think it's that kind of lack of integration in this guy's personality, that he could be intelligent, he could get through dental school, he could build to some degree what looked like a successful practice, but he had this dark side that he couldn't control. And this sense of, I'm so smart and I'm so special and I fool so many people so much of the time, I can get away with these other things. Who's going to really question me? They're going to believe my story. And boy, that's what got him here, is that grandiosity, because he lost a realistic perspective.
Well, and it seems like this was a pattern with him as well, not necessarily murder that we know of, but the pattern of behavior, grandiosity, doing things that are hurtful to other people, yet continuing the pattern of behavior. It sounds like this was not his first affair that he had been caught having. He had a porn addiction as well, and things that others were aware of, but him choosing not to ever try and fix those sort of things. Are individuals like this that are habitual cheaters and people that are very much into addiction level porn and things of that, when they are constantly hurting the ones that love them and care about them, especially in romantic ways? Are they just ticking time bombs, essentially, if they're never going to change their ways in some of those key areas?
I hate to be negative about people's potential for change, but I would say this guy did not have a very good prognosis. And particularly when the acting out harms people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just like he was out to get a business rival or something. As I say, the mother of his kids. Where's the compassion for your kids? So this is someone that looks to me to have so many missing pieces inside. I don't know that any change for him in a positive way would ever be possible.
Why is it that, and I know we're kind of generally speaking here, but why is it that we see these sort of very extreme, calculated sometimes, maybe not calculated very well in terms of secrecy going, but calculated moves that people do? We see a lot of this out of people in positions of power, doctors, attorneys, individuals that are probably making some good money, but also they have power over others in their professional lives as well. Is there something about that personality type that lends itself to these sort of psychopathic, disastrous behaviors?
I think it's just, smart psychopaths. This is, maybe the poisoning is a bit unusual, but certainly dirty business deals and impulsive gambling and all these kinds of things are found often in people who are very intelligent psychopaths because they can achieve in business to some degree and have a position of power, whether it's politics or religion or, the medical field, apparently, they can function well. Whereas you can have a psychopathic person who's not that intelligent and, they don't achieve that much power off a street gang because they just don't have the means to achieve. And so smart psychopaths are actually very dangerous people.
Especially when you talk about the medical community and what they're able to get away with. I think that's been an interesting thing in the last couple of years where we've learned about some of these characters. The Dr. Death, Lucy Letby in the UK. It's just very shocking, the capabilities that people have to, control one's existence and not necessarily always the most oversight as well. I would be interested to learn more about his practice and how questionable was it? Was it an up and up practice or was there other things going on? Oftentimes you see it, unfortunately, a lot in the dental area, a lot of upselling for something that really shouldn't necessarily be an upsold product. That in all likelihood, he was selling Invisalign and teeth whitening and, and who knows all. And the irony of it, he may have been technically a very competent dentist and his patients may have thought, gee, what a nice guy he is. But there's usually this under layer of, yes, there are dirty deeds happening here. And you do hear about that a lot with dentists. And there are gynecologists that are, arrested 20, 30 years down the line for molesting their patients. Sure. And, people that thought they were very nice doctors, but there's this hidden stuff. It also makes me think of the U.S. Olympic gymnast coach who got away with what he was doing for so many years. So these folks, we usually think of the psychopath as the street criminal, the murderer, the bank robber, but in truth, there are a lot of them in positions of power. And right in front of us right now, we don't know about it until they actually get caught. That's the scariest part.
That's right. That's right. I think we all need to keep our radar up for things that just seem a little bit off and always be watching for manipulation and danger. Unfortunately, I would love to not live that way. But, before I ever go to a new doctor or medical professional, I look up the rating boards, not only in Yelp to see if there have been complaints, but also on their licensing status with each state. You can look up their license and do a background check just for free, on has this person had malpractice suits. And I have been very surprised at things I've found sometimes. And I've gone in a different direction because of something I found on the licensing board website.
This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast.
The Hidden Killers Podcast.
With Tony Bruschi.
Siobhan Scott, thank you so much for joining us. She's author of the book, The Minds of Mass Killers, Understanding and Interpreting the Pathway to Violence. Be sure to check that out. Hey, if you like this show and you want it to be commercial free, well, I got a way for that. All you got to do is go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe there to our premium content. There you'll get access to all of our podcasts on true crime, all of it completely ad-free. Check that out when you subscribe. We do greatly appreciate that. It helps keep our show afloat. My name's Tony Bruschi. Stay with us.